Hello everyone and welcome to another wicked gameplay episode. Today we're looking at the Jar Designs A320 and we're going to be doing a short flight from London Gatwick to Ostend in Belgium. Now before this button disappears, I want you to take note of this hot start button in the bottom left hand corner. Just keep in mind one of the things I really like about this aircraft is that button. If you're in a hurry, you're busy, you just hit that button and it will just get your aircraft into a ready to take off situation, which is really cool. I really like that about this aircraft. I guess other aircraft have had it too, the airliners, but I really like the way it just says hot start. You can click on that and move forward from there. So if you're really busy, that gets you underway. So let's have a little look outside of this. I don't want to spend too much time looking at this. As you can see, it's quite nice. It's pretty well done, and I think this was quite old. So have a look at the Virgin Atlantic one in the background there. That doesn't look so good. So this thing's like a Ferrari compared to that thing. So it's actually pretty well done. I think this was done quite a while ago, definitely before I started flight simming. So it's been around for a while, and in some cases it shows. But I guess that's to be expected when you have an aircraft that was developed a little while ago. But all in all, I think it's a pretty decent aircraft all around. Definitely has a few quirky bits and pieces about it, but you know what? I think they all do to some degree. So, but I'm relatively happy with it. It's not as good as say the A350 by flight factor, which I've already done, but it's still nice nonetheless if you're looking for an A320. So let's have a little look at how this works. They've got this little options bar here. And we're going to go through a checklist and we're going to go through this whole thing. So let me get my checklist out here. We'll go through the initial, the procedures, workflows. I don't know what the proper term is called, but we're going to go through, I'm going to call them a checklist or workflows. Okay, let's call them a workflow. This is the pre-check. So what we'll do first is go to the menu item here and let's hit the ground. And we'll do the catering and stairs, and that will bring out a little catering truck here, which is pretty cool. By the way, I have no idea if this is the correct gate for British Airways, and I really don't know if British Airways even flies to Ostend in Belgium, but they are today. Let's just call this a charter flight. Okay, so let's jump in the cockpit here. We can have a little look around. It's pretty well done. I mean, there's a few things, say, up on the overhead here. They're inoperable, so you can see inop, so they haven't been simulated. And I guess that comes down to this aircraft was done a little while ago. So let's make sure that everything is good. Make sure our thrust levers are back, engine switches are back, they're off, and the engine mode selector is normal. Parking brake is on, gear is down, which I hope. And wipers are off, so wipers are on the overhead panel here. They are fine. So we're going to turn on some power now. So our batteries here, batteries 1 and 2 are on. And we'll do an APU test. So we just press the APU test. All lights up, all good. And back to the APU master switch now. Turn that on. And we'll hit the APU start switch. And we'll wait until this actually switches to available. You can see that this should switch to available. I think if we jump down here, no, we don't see it yet. We should just wait briefly while the APU starts up. The hot start button's still there. I'm just tempted to turn that on. No, let's go through the startup process. So the APU has fired up. You can see available has come up, which is great. Then we could adjust any cockpit lighting, which is here. There's some options down here, and there's also some options up here. So they're all sort of all over the place. Let's get this adjusted. These are kind of annoying the way these are always set in a place where someone will complain. So there is a first officer on board this aircraft, and he's going to help us do some of the checklists. But you still need to go through this process to make sure everything is all good. Alright. Oxygen, that's fine. Crew supply. Flight director, let's make sure that's off there. This checklist I'm using is actually off the Jar Designs website. I'm assuming it is correct. It was supplied by somebody else, and they've done a pretty good job. So okay, we'll jump up the top here. ADIRS, ADIRS, or ADIRS, as some first officers call it. So we want to put STS, and then switch this to 1. And then the first one, wait till the battery light goes out. Now you'll think this says 1, 2, 3, but it actually is 1, 3, and 2. So let's turn on 2 first, and then 3. Okay, so that's good. So what you're supposed to do is begin with 1 and wait till the on battery light disappears, then repeat for 2 and 3. Keypad, press enter, so we're going to do that, and TTN7, whatever that means. Okay, that's fine. Now, we'll jump back down here, and we'll turn the battery and smoking, seatbelt and no smoking signs on. You'll see that's kicked off at automated, I guess, I don't know what that's called. I've forgotten. Because I never actually do them. Excuse me, I'm going to have a quick drink. Okay. Emergency lights here. So let's put them on our arm. And landing elevation here, that's on auto. That's fine. X bleed is cross bleed. Is it X bleed or cross bleed? I'm going to call that X bleed. That's on auto. Packs 1 and 2. Inside temperatures we've already adjusted. Fuel pumps. There is 6 fuel pumps, so we'll turn them all on. Make sure we've got no lights on here. Then we'll go, oops, go to the engine fire. So let's check engine 1. Good. Engine 2. Okay, that's all good. Check the ECAM for all green. So far, so good. Radio. Radio 3, so we can turn on radio 3, but we're not going to be really using anything here. Then we'd set the frequency if we wanted to do that, and we'd get ATC delivery clearance. So let's assume we have got all of that. Now we're going to check the center panel here. So look, the anti-skid is on. That's over here. Weather radar is off. That's down here. So the weather radar down here, that's off. I haven't actually used that in this aircraft, so maybe if I remember we'll actually do that. Display switching is these 4 knobs across the top here. All should be set to normal, which is the default setting. Okay, let's move on to the next page. Now, the engine, let's just press engine here. We can check the engine oil. I hit APU. No wonder that did make sense. Engine oil 15.2 and 15.4. Hydraulics. So press hydraulics. And what are we checking for this? Check oil quantity on lower ECAM. Not really sure what I'm looking at there. I don't see anything about oil, so that's a bit strange. That says low. 1 or 2. I think that's battery 2000. Nope, no idea. Don't know. That's something I guess I'll have to learn. The ground spoilers retracted and disarmed. Yes, they are. They're here, so they're disarmed. And flaps are up. Rudder trim. Oops. Rudder trim is 0. You can see that's here. And the TCAS, which is over here, traffic collision avoidance system, should be set to standby. It's on standby, and select the ATC code. So let's just assume that we are going to be doing 1200. Although if it was an IFR flight, we wouldn't be, because 1200 is VFR. But let's just, for the sake of this flight, we're not going to worry about all that because we don't use ATC, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, first thing to do, hit the init key. Then we would put a company route in there, but we're not going to do that. In this case, we're going to program in our current Airport, EGKK, and EBOS, which is Ostend. Put that in there. Let's align the RS straight away. That's not in the checklist to do it straight away, but I want to do it straight away because there's going to be a timer up here which aligns in 3 minutes. So we might as well get that underway. So we'll put a flight number in. I'm just going to put 123 because we are the low cost carrier. Flight number, cost index, we'll go with 35. I just saw that number somewhere. That's nothing fancy going on there. Cost index, flight level, we'll come back to the flight level. We can put it in if we were going to do it for this particular flight. It's going to be 150. And you can have problems trying to put a cruise flight level in here. If you start seeing errors about flight level cruise error, you probably don't have the right fuel to achieve that altitude. Make sure you've got all that right first, but you'll probably find that we'll have to put this back in. So that's one of the little quirky things that I found with that. Okay, so once we've done that, we can press our right arrow key here and come to here, hit our zero fuel weight and block weight, and that will populate everything else that's going on in here. What have we got here? So that's fine. Then we can go flight plan. So we want to do that now. Let's go flight plan. You can see it's given us just EGKK to EBOS without any waypoints in the middle. So let's select a departure. And before we do that, I have actually set our ATIS here. We'll have a quick look. 26 left and 26 right. Okay. So the one we want, let me check my notes. I think it was 26 right. 26 left. I'm pretty sure 26 left was the longer one, and we should see that here. 26 left is 3,316 meters. So we are going to do that. Our star, or SID, sorry, is DVR. So we want that one, and there's not going to be any transition, and we'll insert that in. So that's going to give us all the waypoints out to the DVR VOR, and then it will be to EBOS. So what we want to do right now is add one more waypoint called KONAN. Oops. See here, it's got cruise flight level. So we'll have to put that back in. KONAN, have I done that correctly? No, you have to press DVR and it'll put it in between those two, which is kind of another one of the quirky things. I don't think any of the other flight management computers have ever sort of done that before. Anyway, that's the only waypoint we need to put in for this trip. Then we're going to hit a arrival. Maybe we'll do that in the air. And we'll pick the... actually, let's do it now. Let's just pick one. We're going to try and do an ILS 08, runway 08. It will be the KOK2A. And I don't know if it really matters which ones of these I pick, but that is going to do no transition and insert. And that is our whole flight trip. That's everything. Okay, so you can see none of our bearings are filled in here, and this sort of doesn't quite look completed. So we could actually check the flight plan if we really wanted to. Put this on flight plan. You can see we've got this. Let's get back up the top here. Okay. Okay, so we're going to take off, come around, get over to here. What am I doing? Let's try that again. So we just sort of step through this. Okay, let's get back to here. Okay, so we're going to take off on 26 right, or 26 left. And then we're going to make a right turn, move around, follow this all the way along, turn at Acorn, keep following it, KONAN, then a left turn, across this ONO, I think it's a DME, ADF. I'm trying to think what it was called again. come back around, overfly the runway, come back around again, and then land on 08. Right. So that is the flight plan. Go back to ARC. And we'll set this up so we're back at our home airport. Our starting point. Okay. So that is pretty much that. So once we've got the flight plan in, selected the approach, we want to go to performance. So we need to get this in here. So we need to hit our flap settings. So before we do that, let's get our fuel and load planner out. Fuel. Okay, so let's try and put some more cargo. So you can actually play around with how many passengers, etc. you've got. We're fully loaded. Okay. So what we'll see now on the outside, we've got our fuel truck, we've got the catering truck. So he's connected to us, he's gonna fuel us up. But what we want to do here is, it's saying enter flight plan, cost index, cruise altitude, and 0 fuel weight. If you see that, that means you haven't got everything done. So let's get back to the flight plan, and let's go back to in there tier. Let's try and put 150 in here. Make sure this is filled in, and you can see here now this says extra fuel at arrival is 1.92 tons. So we've got plenty of fuel. You can actually like reduce fuel, but I'm going to give us a little bit extra. We'll go with 1.5. Oh, let's go with 2 ton. And then we can refuel. And that is it. We're done. That's basically the payload and everything is done. And once we've done that, we'll go back to the performance here. Flap settings, 2 up, 0. Now I'm assuming this 0.5 down is something to do with that. So I'm going to put 2. It should be 2/down DN. Now, I don't actually know if this is right. I know this is actually the right way of putting the details in, but I don't know if I'm understanding this right, because I've never actually read the documentation for this plane. So this 0.5 down, I think, has got to do with the flap settings. And we're going to put in, and you can see here the trim is going to adjust to our setting there. And we're going to put, for the flex temperature, F50. And that's not F50 as in Ferrari, but flex 50, I'm assuming. And then we'll hit our VR speeds to set them on our primary flight display. And that is pretty much it for this part of the flight. So we're good. Now when we go back to the flight plan, you'll see here now we've got some bearings. We have some speed and altitude constraints. You can see there's actually no speeds, but there's definitely altitude constraints in here. So you can see that that is working. So that's fine. That's all good. So let's get rid of the fuel, the load, the stairs, and the catering truck. So we'll look outside. See them all disappearing. That's actually pretty cool the way they do this with this plane. It's one of the few planes I think that actually has this little animated stuff, so props to them for that. Excuse me while I have a drink. Okay, so what we would do now is shut all the doors and cargo doors here. Very cool. Back in the cockpit. We're ready. Flight director on. CSTR button on. Barrow set to present value. We can actually look here. The departure airport. I'm assuming it's 1010. I'm not that good at reading METARs. 101. It's looking pretty good. 1010. Okay, that's good. So that's that. And that also sets our standby, which is pretty cool. So we've done that. Set the initial altitude. Now we could set it at like 6,000, whatever. I'm going to set it at our cruise altitude, 15,000. But you know, you would set it to maybe what ATC is telling you, to make sure you do not exceed it. So we're going to do that. That's fine. Now you'll see here the speed and heading are dashed, so they're in managed mode, and that is the way we want to keep them. So okay, so now we've shut the doors and we've got AT clearance for pushback and start. What else do we need to do here? We want to turn our beacons on, nav logo on, and then run the checklist. So we've got a checklist here, and we'll click that.
Before start checklist. Cockpit preparation completed. Gear pins and covers. It is not okay, sir. It is not removed.
So he's going to complain, so he wants me to take the park brake off.
Gear pins and covers.
Then he'll continue on.
Signs on. Adheres nav mode. Fuel quantity in kilo 05992.
You got a bit delayed there.
Set. Barrow reference set. Windows, doors closed. Beacon on. Throttle levers idle. Parking brake. It is not okay, sir. It is not on. Parking brake on. Checklist completed. Park brake on.
Oh, I've gone into the startup procedure. I've just skipped the checklist. Okay, so once we had the beacon on, we should have called the tow. So let's just assume I did stuff that up. So we're going to call the tow. This is pretty cool. We've got that little tow that comes out. Lifts up the front wheel, and then just basically we can just say go,
park brake off,
and it'll just push us back, which is pretty cool. And we could start the engines now, I guess. Do a left turn. So all this stuff is pretty cool with this aircraft, I have to admit. I haven't flown this aircraft all that much. I have flown it a couple of times, and I was a bit rusty. I did do a couple of test flights before doing this run, just to make sure I understood what I was doing to some degree. Okay, so turn that off. So basically that's fine.
Park brake on.
Alright, so anti-skid, noticeable steering off. I don't know if that needs to be off. It says to turn it off. Master caution. That's fine. Okay. Master caution. ECAM clear. Clear the warning. I have no idea how to clear that warning, to be honest. There must be an ECAM clear button. There you go. So I really have no idea what that is. Master caution, ECAM clear, tow, turn anti-skid back on. Okay, so I did that all wrong as well. So we're supposed to turn that off. Cool. As well steers back on. Strobe. Let's get back up here. Okay, so startup, strobe on auto. Nav lights are on. That's fine. Then we'd do the checklist. Then we would actually do engine start. So I'm going to put this on to start. And start engine 2.
Starting engine 2.
Make sure park brake is on. It's weird the way this thing doesn't go off now. Nothing happening? Oh God. I didn't tell the tow to go away, so we have to say bye-bye to the tow. And then we can start. God. Yes, a comedy of errors today. Alright, now. Let's just see what's going on here now. Let's try this.
Starting engine 2.
I think the plane's bugged out.
Starting engine 1.
Nothing's actually happening. You know why? APU bleed. That's why. So I must have missed that. Let's get these back off. So all this time we've had no APU bleed. So I've missed that in the checklist. But look at this, my
Starting engine 2.
let's try that. Park brake is on? Yes, good. Surprised if we don't have a fire. It's good. Let's try and start engine
Starting
1.
engine 1.
Alright. Once they settle, okay. So they've settled. Now we can actually turn off the let's put the end. Oops. God. I'm just jumping around everywhere. So we'll turn off the engine selector so it's back onto norm, and then we can turn the APU bleed to off. APU master switch off. Packs 1 and 2, they're already on. Anti-ice on if required. After start checklist. Let's try that.
After start checklist. Anti-ice as required. ECAM status checked. Pitch trim 0.5. Down. Rudder trim 0. APU. It is not okay, sir. It is not set on.
This checklist said to turn it off. So now they want it on. Crazy. So there's definitely some differences between the checklist I have and the actual aircraft. So make sure you have a good checklist.
APU set on. Ground crew clear. Anti-skid and nose wheel steering on. Checklist completed.
So it looks like we have a bug here where this says off. Okay, so that checklist is done. Flaps to 2.
Flaps 1. Flaps 2.
Flight control. And we're going to do the flight control checklist.
Flight control check. Full up.
So check the controls.
Check. Full down. Check. Neutral. Check. Full left. Check. Full right. Check. Neutral. Check. Press pedals disconnect push button.
Okay, so that's over here. We do that.
Check. Pedal full left. Check. Pedal full right. Check. Neutral. Check. Press pedals disconnect push button. Check. Checklist completed.
Okay, so we've got the checklist completed. Then we can start to taxi. So we get the ATC clearance. And let's just turn on some lights here. So we've got the Nose light taxi, so we'll do that. Runway turn on. Parking brake
Park brake
off. And auto brake is max. Okay. Alright, so let's get going. Quite loud outside. I like the way the flight crew just start doing the I guess the talks to the crew or to the passengers. I wanted to find a Thomas Cook livery and I couldn't find one. One that I liked anyway. Nice airport. I'll have all the links to the airports and the flight charts and the SIDS and stars. Well, actually the stars, not the SIDS. Got a bit of rain. We're using the built-in weather engine. It's a great plane at night. The lighting in this aircraft is beautiful. It really is. EasyJet. Tried to find an EasyJet livery. Couldn't find one. There's nothing on this checklist that I've got here. Oops. What I like to do is hit this takeoff config button. Did I hit it? What's actually happening? I think this is bugged out, this panel on this side, which is kind of annoying. Normally you'd see that on the side here. Okay, so we're going to line up. Is this 26 right or left? There's right there, I think. So this should be left. Yes. Good. Okay, so let's just hit the parking brake real quick.
Park brake on.
We'd get ATC clearance to line up, but we're not going to do that yet. So what we're going to do is turn on the... See if I can remember how to do this. Weather radar on. Don't see anything happening there. I don't know. I haven't really used this. Landing lights. Oh, this is for when you're lining up. Anyway, we're going to do it now. Weather radar on. Landing lights on. Nose light to take off. Auto brake. Max is done. Ground spoilers.
Spoilers arm.
And TCAS TA doesn't say anything about auto. I think you should probably go into auto and then we can set this to TA. Before takeoff checklist. See that real quick?
Before takeoff checklist. Flight controls. Checked. Flight instruments. Checked. Briefing. Confirm. Flap settings config. Flaps 2. V1. 1. 3. 9. V rotate. 1. 4. 4. V2. 1. 5. 6. Flex temperature. 5. 0. ATC. Set. ECAM memo. It is not okay, sir. It is not. No blue.
And as you can see, we don't know what the hell we haven't done. Because it's not telling us. It'd normally say here what we've done. Check brake temperatures. TCAS on. Oh, that's a shame. Yep, this definitely bugged out. I've never seen it do that before. So, we've got our spoilers set to... I'm trying to think what else there was. Nasal stare. Pity. This is just bugged out. Okay, well, that's just bad luck. Of course, it only happens when you start recording, so yeah, let's get going. Better turn the brakes off.
Park brake off.
Let's line up. So normally check brake temperatures. We're not going to do that. Packs 1 and 2 off. Where are they again? Packs. Let me have a real quick look there for a second. So we'll line up. So obviously we want to turn the packs off. I believe it's to give ourselves the maximum performance. So let's just have a look where they are. Packs off. That just turns the air conditioning system off. I don't think the APU would be on. At least I didn't think they would be. Okay, so I think we're ready to go. Let's see what happens here. Hopefully that I haven't forgotten anything. Go to flex temperature. There we go. Wait for the rotate call, so got some airspeed going.
100 knots. V1. Rotate.
Rotate. We're about 15 degrees. Positive climb, gear up. First set of flaps up. Go to climb thrust. The autopilot on.
One cross check.
The gear is up. So we've got some constraints going on right now.
Speed check. Flaps 1. Speed check. Flaps 0.
So we've got a speed constraint of 250 knots. Let's just do the after takeoff checklist. Let's have a look. So takeoff, climb, thrust levers, gear up, autopilot on, nose light off. Nose light off, runway turn off. Off, so this is the takeoff and climb. Thrust levers to climb, which we've done. Ground spoilers.
Spoilers disarm.
Okay, so we should be sitting 3, 4, 6, 8. Okay, where were we? Ground spoilers, flaps are all up. Heading mode on is optional. Altitude, set aside altitude optional. VS optional. Packs 1 and 2 on. Let's get them on. For passenger comfort. After takeoff checklist 1.
After takeoff checklist. Landing gear up. Flaps retracted. Packs on. Checklist down to the line completed. If you're ready to continue below the line, click it again. Barrow reference. It is not okay, sir. It is not standard Barrow set.
So for whatever reason, it
Standard
thinks...
Barrow cross-check. Passing flight level 040. Barrow reference. Standard Barrow set. Checklist below the line completed.
I think it's 6,000 feet in the UK for the transition altitude, so I'm not really sure why it thinks that unless there's some setting in the flight management computer. Okay, Barrow, yep, should be set when we cross over, but anyway, we're going to do it now. Doesn't matter. Just for the sake of this episode. Landing lights off when we pass 10,000, seatbelt sign off. So let's let people have a little walk around, although it's probably too early. But we have some freedom of liberties on this flight. Okay, so that's it. We're pretty good to go from here on in. So we've got a little bit of turbulence. That's quite loud. You can see we've got a bit of turbulence going on here. Bit of rain. It's a bit bumpy. Hope nobody gets seasick. Or airsick, I should say. We do have some wipers too. You can turn wipers on. And you can't see them from outside. But there's no pilots in this plane. This is the first fully autonomous Airbus. Yeah, just kidding. Really a shame that this this bugged out here. That was kind of weird. Fuel on board, 5,000 kilos. Plenty of fuel. So we're at 5,000 feet. And we'll stay here, I guess. 6,000 when we pass, I guess around this 224F waypoint. So we just bring this out a little bit. We'll move to 6,000 feet. So we've got this constraint here of 5,000. And yeah, we have a little bit of turbulence. So anyway, let's see if we can go to the back of the aircraft here, and we can just take a quick look. Here it is. This is what she looks like in the back here. Now different liveries have the Airbus. Well, this one does have the Airbus. So we can get a wing view. Is there any wing flex? No, I think that's just some aileron. I don't know if this aircraft has wing flex, but I don't really mind too much either way. Passenger comfort. Okay, so we're back in the cockpit here. It seems like it's always raining whenever I take this flight. It's definitely a little bit bumpy. She's quite a nice aircraft. They've done a pretty good job. So what do we got there? Some brightness. It does actually look quite good at night. So maybe we can just get some nighttime going. And we'll check out some of the night lighting. Okay, so here we are. We've got some night lights, so we can turn this up. It's quite good. Turn this one. This. It's really good. Got the ND switches here. What else do we have here? We've got some other switches here for lighting. Floodlight. Some more lighting here, which is kind of cool. It does just look so good at night. I really like it. I'm not losing any altitude, which is good. Then we also have some other lighting switches up here. We've got the overhead light here. There we go. Yeah, it's looking really, really funky. I'm losing some frame rates. How good does X-Plane look at night? Really nice. It's a beautiful plane at night. We also have a sort of table or something here. Yeah. Oh, there's a brightness switch there. Didn't know that was there. Foot warmer. Kind of cool. Oh, that's reflections. Yeah, I kind of like the reflections. Got a terrain switch here. It's got some funky stuff going on. The weather radar, I'm not sure if the weather radar works. So that is basically it. So what's going to happen is we're going to climb up to our main altitude. Still climbing. We're on the constraint here. As you can see, if we look down here, we're going to be constrained to 6,000 for some time till we get past DVR. And then we'll be top of climb, go past KONAN. So that's quite a while away. So what I might do is we'll move forward from here. Oops, let me just move this out so we can see some of the flight. You can see here we've got the marker for top of descent, or top of climb and top of descent on this side. Okay, so I'm going to stop here and I'll pick this back up as we're coming into our destination airport. Hello everyone and welcome back. We're coming into the descent now, but this isn't the same flight that I originally started on. Unfortunately I did have a few problems with the flight path and the plane not wanting to follow the actual flight plan that I'd set up. So yeah, I'm actually now redoing this flight. And we're coming back in. I've changed my path a little bit. We're going to come around to the outside and just make a bit more direct path into the runway, because this aircraft didn't particularly like the approach path that I had. It would not follow it. I did test this in another Airbus A320 in prepared 3D and it works perfectly. So I'm putting it down to the plane, not my inability to understand what's going on, because I know everything about flying Airbuses because I am an armchair pilot, of course. So yeah, I mean, there is a few problems with trying to get this to do what I wanted, so I did change the flight plan. What we're going to be doing here is, let's just move in. You'll see we're going to get to this COA waypoint. We're going to turn around and come back in. It's going to be a much more straight path, and I'll remove the waypoints that we're doing, kind of like a turn inside of that, so that will sort all that out hopefully, and we shouldn't have any problems. We're going to turn all these lights on here and make our way down to the final approach, and hopefully be able to land this thing on 26 left via an ILS approach, which is what we're going to be doing. Got our standard settings here. We're just descending down to 2200 feet, which is the CI26 fix. We look here, 2270, so we should be about be able to intercept that glide slope at around that point. So that's what we're trying to do. We're still in the dark, and we'll see how we go with
spoilers half.
Had to put a bit of extra drag. See how we go with this turn here. Hopefully all goes well and we can get this thing on the ground and wrap up this week's episode, so I can look at doing some other aircraft. Looking forward to doing Boeings as well. I've done a few Airbus episodes, so doing a few Boeings would be good. Looking forward to that. And like to do the ILS approaches because I'm terrible at manual landing, particularly in airliners. I haven't had a lot of practice. And actually most of the time when I fly, I'm actually recording these flights. I generally don't have enough time to sit down and practice these, so it can be a bit tricky in just remembering how to do everything sometimes. And yeah, taking some time off soon from work, and that should give me a little bit more time to enjoy some flight simming.
Approach phase activated. Spoilers retracted.
So it seems to be when this guy does hit the approach phase, that's when things start getting a little bit crazy.
Spoilers half. Spoilers full.
We'll put our ILS approach here. We'll go, we're on standard barrow. If we look here, the approach airport, let's update this. So we should be 280 at 23. 1023, so we're pretty close to that. There we go. Hopefully this will get us aligned the way we want to be aligned. We are coming around. Hit the approach button soon. Definitely going much better than what we were. At least we're lined up correctly. Look at this, the glide slope. I want to put my gear down.
Gear down.
Put our brakes on here to medium.
Approach checklist. Briefings. Confirm. ECAM status. Checked. Seatbelts. On. Baro set. 3, 0, 2, 3. Decision height. 0, 5, 0. Engine mode selector. Set normal as wearer required. Auto brake. Set. Checklist completed.
Okay, we're looking pretty good to come in and land.
Speed checked. Flaps 1.
Just got to intercept this glide slope now. So we're going to maintain 2200, and we're almost over this fix here, and that will pretty much be where we intercept the glide slope. Looking for my checklist, see if there's anything else I forgot. You can see the glide slopes coming down. Barrow performance page, we're going to worry about that. Good altitude, go set to go around. I don't know what the go around is, but let's just say it was 4100. We'll just leave it there. Okay, looks like we're intercepted the glide slope, which is great. So things are working a lot better this time around. Yeah, this aircraft really just struggled trying to follow that.
Speed checked. Flaps 2.
Follow the approach I had programmed. So all our lights are on. I think we're pretty good. Runway turn. Yep. Ground spoilers.
Spoilers half. Spoilers retracted. Spoilers armed.
Okay, we want to do that. Auto brakes on. And we'll turn on our second autopilot.
Speed checked. Flaps 3.
We have just been cleared to land at the arrival airport. Please make sure one last time your
Speed
seatbelt
checked.
is secured.
Flaps full.
The flight attendant
Okay, we're looking pretty good to come in for a full auto land.
please check and pick up any remaining cups and glasses. Thank you.
There's a wing view. As we come in. Finally, so excited that we're actually being able to get this one on the ground. Very, very frustrating experience. Like I said, I did this in another Airbus because I was really starting to wonder, am I not
1000.
getting something? But yeah, it's just didn't like the approach that originally set up. It just had too many turns in it, and I think that's probably one of the most complicated parts of these planes. When I did read or hear something about PMDG saying some of the some parts of the FMS were the most difficult part of programming the aircraft, so yeah, I'd imagine it's quite difficult. So we're coming in, we are looking pretty good.
Five hundred.
Look at that. It's beautiful, doesn't it?
400.
It's a beautiful aircraft
Land
though.
green,
I love the lighting in X-Plane, particularly in this cockpit. It looks amazing. Looking forward to the
300.
A330 and hopefully the less troublesome flight computer than this one.
200.
It's coming in smoothly, looking good.
100 above.
100. 50. 40. 30.
It says flare on
Minimum.
the PFD.
Retard. Retard.
Ground spoilers. Descend.
Get it back on the center line.
Reverse green.
Reverses. Down to about 70 knots. About there will do it.
70 knots.
And thank you. We got some waves from the crew. So let's have a little look at the checklist.
Landing checklist. Cabin crew. Advised. Auto throttle mode. Off.
Oh, look.
ECAM memo.
Did I miss
Go
that?
blue. Go around altitude. It is not okay, sir. It is not set.
Maybe I missed that.
After landing checklist.
I don't even know.
Flaps.
So busy.
It is not okay, sir. It is not retracted.
Okay,
Flaps
let's
3.
retract those.
Flaps 2. Flaps 1. Flaps retracted. Spoilers. It is not okay, sir. It is not disarm. Flaps 0.
Actually, maybe we'll go further up. I really don't know my way around this airport. Runway turn-off lights. We really want to get some of this stuff off. And I think if we look up here, we're going to have taxi setting here, so that should just keep the lighting a bit more controlled.
After landing checklist.
Definitely need a bit of practice on this.
Spoilers. It is not okay, sir. It is not disarm. Spoilers half. Spoilers. Disarm. APU. Start. Radar. It is not okay, sir. It is not off. Spoilers retracted.
I have no idea where I am. I guess we could
Spoilers arm. Spoilers disarm.
turn the
Radar off. Strobe lights. It is not okay, sir. It is not off.
this guy.
Strobe lights off.
You can
Checklist
put it on
complete.
auto. I think, was there anything else? Then parking. Let's just park it over here. Now I know we're not at a proper gate. I don't know my way around these airports. Let's just put us here next to the Tom Cook. Because all the gates are busy, of course. This is an unscheduled stop.
Park brake on.
There we go. And there we have it. There's the Airbus
Parking checklist.
A320 from Jar Designs.
On. Engines off. Seatbelts. It is not okay, sir. It is not off.
There we have it. It's a pretty nice plane, other than I think there's some parts of it that are a bit buggy compared to other Airbuses I've flown. I think that's the case. But there is still some good stuff about it, like this, all this kind of stuff. These little trucks and stuff that come in, that's pretty cool. So there we go. There's the Jar Design A320. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you want to see any particular aircraft or any particular flights from point A to point B, let me know. Try and keep them about 1 hour, 1 hour and a half flights. I don't mind doing them about that long. And we'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.